picks up win number 3 in 2007.
Pick. 20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration. Dale Earnhardt will come to the caution flag to win the Daytona 500. 3 and 4, make room. Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt. There's another 7-time champ. Jimmy Johnson wins his 7th NASCAR Sprint Cup championship.
Welcome back to the Slot Job Podcast. I'm Joshua Northcutt. Also, you can find me on Twitter at jnorth1989. Host today due to Colton having some big boy jobs out there in North Dakota. But joining me, as always, are the two co-hosts, Ben Miller and Bull Brandon Davis. Bull, Ben, how we doing? Starting with you, Ben.
Yeah, doing great. Had a great weekend. Watched the POC-OH-NO race. Wasn't the most exciting race, but it was got a little nerve-wracking at the end. But overall, what about you guys?
Bull?
Yeah, had a great weekend. Beautiful weather. Spent some of it outside, having a little few little beverages and hanging outside, family. Watched some NASCAR. All in all, a good weekend. But what about yourself, Josh?
Yeah, not too bad. Busy weekend, obviously, with work and everything like that. And then I watched a little bit of the College World Series, and by a little bit, I mean I watched all 18 innings of LSU picking up their 8th national championship. But that's for a different time, which, by the way, you can hear me talk about that on the rubber match later on today, and that will be dropped Tuesday morning as well as this podcast. But enough about baseball. We'll get to NASCAR. As Ben mentioned, it's kind of been widely talked about on Twitter, at least on my part of Twitter, which I know is not the most popular part of Twitter, that it wasn't the most exciting race. Presentation was great. They did everything they could to make the race exciting, but it was kind of a snooze fest. So, Ben, go ahead and let us know the Great American Gateway 400 recap.
All right, so starting off with our results from POC-OH-NO, we got Chase Briscoe picking up his first win of the year and his first win with Joe Gibbs Racing. His JGR teammate Denny Hamlin, 7-time POC-OH-NO winner, finishing in 2nd. Ryan Blaney in 3rd. Chris Buescher in 4th. Chase Elliott in 5th. John Hunter Nemechek in 6th. Kyle Larson in 7th. Ryan Preece in 8th. Brad Keselowski in 9th. And Austin Cindric in 10th. And just a few notables to point out, Christopher Bell finishing in 17th. Carson Hocevar in 18th, Kyle Busch in 20th, A.J. Allmendinger in 21st, William Byron finishing in 27th, Tyler Reddick in 32nd, and Bubba Wallace in 36th. Starting off with Stage 1, there wasn't a whole lot in Stage 1. Denny Hamlin, Mr. POC-OH-NO, like I mentioned, dominated, winning Stage 1, Stage 2, we saw Keselowski, Carson Hocevar, Ty Gibbs, John Hunter Nemechek, Cole Custer up front, some drivers who are in a must-win situation and are below the playoff level. So coming into this race, though, it was going to be interesting to see what these guys would do to put themselves in position to try to get those stage points. And, they definitely brought the speed early. And we got our first caution of the race. Riley Herbst went into the wall with some brake issues, along with his 2311 teammate Bubba Wallace, another brake issue, one of our drivers that's on the bubbles. So overall, it was a tough point stay for Bubba Wallace. Brad Keselowski pits when the pits were closed and had a great race going. He led a lot of laps. I believe it was 27. But Jeremy Bolins and BK, apparently they fell asleep because the pits were obviously closed when the caution came out. And but overall, though, just so much pit strategies. Seeing these guys pit while others stay out, and on the restart, Alex Bowman takes the lead. Led a good amount of the race. Seemed to keep the momentum going from Mexico City, and as we get to lap 73, Michael McDowell suffered a brake issue. Another driver who was outside the cut line looking in, and on lap 81, Chase Briscoe takes the lead on the restart, and then on lap 83, 2 laps later, we have a crash in the tunnel turn involving Kyle Busch, Ty Dillon, and our Mexico City winner, SVG, and Christopher Bell. And then later afterwards, we see a third 2311 driver go out with yet another brake issue, which was Tyler Reddick. the tough season continues. And at the end of stage 2, we saw Chase Briscoe and Josh Berry going at it for the stage win. Ultimately, Chase Briscoe wins stage 2. Overall, a big points day for the 19. Came in as one of our bubble drivers. And as we go into the final stage, we saw Chase Briscoe versus Chris Buescher on lap 119. The pit window opened, and Chase Briscoe had a fast pit stop, which was about 11 seconds. And the question was, did he get enough fuel in the tank? Because apparently Briscoe left before James Small said, go, go, go. So that caused a little bit of concern there. And with 36 laps to go, SVG spins, and Briscoe was saving fuel while Hamlin was able to pressure him, though. But, he was able to save enough fuel. And like I mentioned earlier, Chase Briscoe wins at POC-OH-NO. So, like I mentioned earlier, it was somewhat kind of a boring race. I mean, a lot of strategies came into play. But, Bull, what did you think about this?
So two things that I want to mention. You mentioned Brad Keselowski pitting when pit lane was closed and Boland's fallen asleep. Brad Keselowski had the fastest car on Sunday. That was his race to win, and he made a few critical mistakes. If it wasn't for pitting when pit lane was closed, he was possibly winning that race. He still bounced back to finish, I think, with a top 10 finish, if I remember correctly. So even after that, having to go back to the tail, still had a fast car and still was able to bounce back and finish ninth. Another thing that I want to mention, Chase Briscoe, you mentioned, was short on fuel. James Smalls was saying that we are blank on fuel. We're short. And he was still able to extend that lead while Denny Hamlin was trying to push and was still able to finish the race while they were 3 laps short. This reminded me of Joey Logano last year at Nashville. It just shows the next gen car, and there's no way that he should have been able to finish that race 3 laps short, being able to save fuel while extending the lead. That there's no reason that should happen.
That's what I was going to say. From everything I read, again, I'm on the gambling side of NASCAR, forgive me, but a lot of money was on Denny. A lot of people were picking Denny to win that race, and not one of them could believe Chase Briscoe was able to finish it. I was curious, like I said, what your guys' opinions were on it. Again, I didn't really get to watch it. I forget what I was doing during that time. But all in all, kind of told y'all Chase was coming. He's been arguably one of the best drivers over the last 6 races. Stats prove that. 9.2 average finish, a win, 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s, 5 top 20s. Has led 135 laps. Now, mind you, a lot of that came yesterday. But Chase has been hanging around. They've been getting the qualifying speed. And the 19 has been good at POC-OH-NO since the next gen. Now with Briscoe in there, they got their win. And I think it could be full sails ahead. But we'll be on talking about that more later. But Ben, since you brought it up with the notables of Tyler Reddick finishing 32nd, Bubba finishing 36th, and Riley Herbst finishing 37th. We talked last week, it would be panic time if Reddick didn't show us anything. Now, it should be emphasized that Reddick went from 8th to 3rd just on speed in stage 1, had the most fast laps at the time during the race. But his brakes went out. It's just kind of what happened. It was the same thing that happened to Bubba. And during the discussion with Bubba, when they were asking him, like, hey, should Reddick be a little bit worried? Reddick's like, you make your own race. Well, that's not totally true. We all know how that works. A lot of these cars are set up the same and built the same, and they're trying to look the same when it's a team. So, Ben, in your mind, are the best days of 23-11 behind them?
I believe they are, yeah, because they just overall though it's just been a rough year for them. I mean, After Mexico City last week, I was giving up on Tyler Reddick because that was a track that I expected him to turn that page, but unfortunately it didn't happen. And I just overall 23-11, they just got a lot of work to do if they're going to start competing for wins and possibly make a deep run in the playoffs and win a championship. But it's definitely disappointing.
Bull, your thoughts?
So I am not giving up on 23-11 yet. If you go back to the last previous three races at road course at Mexico, Bubba Wallace finished 12th. If you go to the Michigan race, he finished 6th. And if you go to the race before that at Nashville, he finished 4th. If yesterday's events were just one car, if it was just one car, then I would think, okay, but it was all three. And so that, to me, that says that there was a setup error. Something in their calculations and their setup was wrong. That happens. So if you go back to the previous three, Bubba was having 3 great races in a row, and then had a parts failure. As we all know, equipment's happen. Reddick was having a great start to the season, and he has fell off the last month and a half, and I'll give you that. But he is still sitting currently at 7th in points. Granted, he has 0 playoff points. 0 playoff points. While Bubba is sitting at 12th. Granted, he doesn't have much, but he still has 2. Still has 2 playoff points. And you know how 2 playoff points in the playoffs, that's going to be huge. We've seen people get eliminated by 1 point. So if I would be more critical of Reddick, be more worried about him just not having those playoff points. He's had the speed early on. I mentioned it last week. I don't know if it's something with the driver, if it's something with the team, or if they're just running through a string of bad luck. But yesterday's not going to make me pull the plug just because it was all 3 cars and it was just an equipment error.
Yeah, personally, I'm gonna panic a little bit. Pocono is a track that nobody has done better than 2311 at since the next gen car. They came in with a finish of 6th and 10th last year. Year before that, 2nd and 11th. Year before that, 8th and 16th. And then Bubba, when he was a solo car, finished 5th. So there's a little bit worry on my end of 2311. It's either this week or next week they're going to find out whether they even get to be a charter anymore. And then what happens with the drivers from there? I know they're in their contracts, but if your team isn't a charter, are you trying to look elsewhere? It's not like there's somebody out there who won't give a shot out to Tyler Reddick. We've seen his skills. So I'm hoping I'm wrong. Obviously, we're going to a super speedway. Bubba loves super speedway. A lot of it deals with luck. But if it's another bad week for 2311, I'm going to agree with Ben and say their best days are behind them. And unfortunately, the way we were looking at Trackhouse is how we're going to be looking at 2311. But that's also probably a little bit of overreaction, which sides now perfectly. Go ahead, Bull. You got
one
something?
thing I want to add to that.
Yes.
One thing I want to add to that, Josh, with Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan owning that team, I don't think you can ever really give up on that team. Both of those guys are severely competitive, and I think they'll keep adding money to make that team competitive. But we both know that Michael Jordan's willing to spend the money, and he does not like to lose. So,
I mean, he might start swinging on some people if he starts losing. Denny better watch out. He'll treat him like he did Steve Kerr back in the 90s. But again, like I said, probably a little bit of overreaction for me. So leads perfect segue into our overreactions of the week after Pocono. We'll go ahead and start with you, Ben. What's your overreaction?
All right, so my overreaction this week, even though he didn't get the result, though, he had a great qualifying run. and we even saw it at Mexico City. And I feel like this summer he's going to keep the momentum going. And I'm talking about Cole Custer. I feel like Haas Factory team, they're starting to try to catch their flow a little bit as we get into the summer as we close out the regular season with 9 races to go. And I feel like they're starting to cook up some things a little bit. So I would keep an eye on that 41 car down the road because I feel like he might be a sleeper.
Ben, if you just put them making the playoffs into existence, I'm going to have to fight you. If Cole Custer, Harrison Burton's his way into the damn playoffs, me and you are going to have some words. Bull, what's your overreaction?
So we've all seen the videos on Twitter. Chicagoland might be making a comeback. Everybody keeps saying, speculating. They don't know what it's going to replace. Boys, I got a perfect track for it to replace. That race yesterday was very boring, and we know how these next gen cars race at worn out 1.5 2-mile racetracks. Give me Chicagoland, replace Chicagoland with Pocono, and give us that'll put on a great race.
So you're saying completely take Pocono off the schedule?
Get rid of Pocono and replace it with Chicagoland.
That is a wide overreaction. There's no way you get rid of a track like Pocono. I get it was a bad race. Like, don't get me wrong, very disappointing. But to get rid of Pocono, no. You need to chill.
I don't like the fuel mileage races. And Josh, how much better are the races at the worn out 1.5 2-mile tracks?
They are, but it's pretty simple. If you're going to do Chicagoland, just replace it from the Chicago street race. There's that schedule.
We already know they're replacing that with San Diego.
Yeah. Don't take Pocono off. I'm not okay with that.
And they're gonna keep the street course. They're gonna replace Chicago with street course with San Diego. We want Chicagoland back. Replace it with Pocono, a worn out 1.5 2-mile racetrack. It's gonna put on a great race. They're gonna want to stay in the Chicago market.
Ben, what are your thoughts before I jump out this window and go see Bull right up the street?
Oh man, I mean, yeah, I would definitely like to see Chicago back. I mean, it would be kind of hard to take Pocono off the schedule because it's been a track on the market for so long now, and I mean, just looking at that race yesterday, though, it was so boring, and I'm not really a big fan of fuel mileage races. I just think they're boring. So yeah, I would definitely like to see Chicagoland make a comeback because I remember when it was on the schedule, though, that was a track that produced some good racing, and it's just a shame that it's not on the schedule anymore. And yeah, if I can pick either Chicagoland or Pocono to put on the schedule, it'd be Chicagoland.
All right. Well, my overreaction is coming off the winner, Chase Briscoe. We've all been talking the Final Four, how exciting it's going to be. Will Denny finally get a championship? How many Hendricks cars will get in? How many Joe Gibbs will get in? Will Penske have all 3 possibly in? Well, boys, I'm here to tell you, it won't be Bell and it won't be Hamlin. Chase Briscoe is going to be the hottest driver through the summer and get into the playoffs and be part of the Final Four. It is going to happen. I'm not ready to put him a champion yet because obviously, as we mentioned many, many, many times on this show, if it's at Phoenix, it's going to be hard to beat a Penske car if they're in there. But Chase Briscoe is arguably the hottest driver right now out there. Only driver better is Christopher Bell when it comes to the finish over the last 16. Momentum is big. Give me that Chase Briscoe team in the 19 finding their way into the Final Four. Bull, any thoughts on that?
That's hot. I don't see how. That's one of those. As much as you disagree with mine, I disagree with that one about the same. I'll leave that one alone.
Fair enough. Ben, any thoughts from you?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe that Pocono win will be the start of something special as we head into the playoffs in September. Because Chase Briscoe, he has shown the speed all year, though. I mean, he's been one of the best qualifiers this year. Won 3 consecutive poles, but there was times when him and James Samal were kind of struggling to get the results on Sundays. So yeah, I feel like after this weekend, I can definitely see them making it to Phoenix for sure. I mean, I can definitely see them doing something special sometime in the future.
I think this is the most wide open Final Four that we've had in a while. There's a lot of cars that I could see getting in, and I'm looking forward to when we finally get there, even if we don't like how we're going to have to get there. But last but not least, it's going to be kind of a quicker show because right after this, we are going to talk about the midseason tournament. We're going to go in depth, give all of our picks. I've also got Colton's picks and some hot takes from Colton that I'm going to bring up along the way. So make sure you look out for that. Hopefully that will drop either Wednesday or Thursday. What, Bull?
One good thing I will add about Briscoe winning, that's another new winner to push SVG out of the playoffs.
And then we're up to 1. So we need 7 more, right? 7 more?
I think 6.
6 more?
Yeah, 6 more.
Okay, we need 6 more, and we're going to a super speedway, baby. Yeah. I'll tell you what, if it comes down to that last race in Daytona and we just need 1 winner, boy, oh boy, will me and Bull be losing it. But we all know SCG is going to win Chicago. It's not going to matter. But power rankings time, gentlemen. I'll go ahead and let you go first, Ben, as you've been doing the whole way. Let us hear your top 5.
All right, so starting off at number 5, gentlemen, I got the 20 car of Christopher Bell coming off a 17th place finish in Pocono. The speed was not there all weekend, despite starting 9th. Overall, just didn't show any type of speed during the race. Got caught up in that 4-car wreck, and I kind of look for him to possibly bounce back in Atlanta. Obviously, it's been a good track for him. He won there in March, so yeah, I got Christopher Bell at number 5. Number 4, I got Ryan Blaney coming off a 3rd place finish at Pocono. Was in contention to flirt with the win, but overall, what a great day for the 12 team. And I feel like this is great momentum as we head into Atlanta. And you know how Ryan Blaney is at super speedways. He's an absolute ace, and there's no doubt in my mind he is going to be a factor as we head into the ATL on Saturday night. And number 3, I got Kyle Larson. Solid. Finished 7th at Pocono. Quiet day overall, still not showing the speed that we saw earlier in the beginning of the season, but continues to put together these good finishes. He has 3 top 10s in the last 4 races, and he's performed pretty good at super speedways this year. I believe he finished 3rd in Atlanta back in March and a 4th at Talladega. So I would definitely keep an eye on that 5 car for sure. I feel like at super speedways, they're turning it around a little bit. And number 2, I have William Byron. Tough weekend in Pocono. Had the fastest car in practice, but unfortunately he got crashed out in qualifying, which ultimately led him to starting in 31st position. He managed to work his way through the field to gain stage points early, but he got put in traffic and couldn't really recover, which resulted in a 27th place finish. But William Byron, he's another great super speedway racer this year. I feel like he will bounce back in Atlanta. And topping off my power rankings this week, guys, I got the 11 car of Denny Hamlin. Great weekend in Pocono after his week off, welcoming his baby boy. Started on pole, led 32 laps, finished 2nd to his JGR teammate Chase Briscoe, but continues to bring winning speed to the racetrack. And he finished 6th in Atlanta back in March. So I don't see that 11 car slowing down anytime soon. So, yeah, that tops off my power rankings this week.
Very nice. Bull, what you got?
So I'm going to start out number 5, William Byron. Got the 1 win this year, led a lot of laps this year, had speed. He's just not had the finishing or the winning success. Not been able to close races out. Coming off the 27th place finish yesterday at Pocono, got stuck in traffic, has been stated, wrecked out in practice qualifying. Had a fast car in practice, actually. Was one of the fastest cars in practice. wrecked out in qualifying. Did not have to go to the backup car, and ended up working his way up to the front. It looked like he was going to contend for a good finish, and then some strategy and getting stuck in traffic led to the 27th place finish. Number 4, Ryan Blaney, a guy we've talked about all year, had a really fast race car, just not got the finishes. He's had the bad DNFs this year, whether it's been blown engines, getting wrecked out, wrong place, wrong time. But when he finishes, he's up there contention every race to win. Number 3, Kyle Larson, a guy that we were talking about, had got 3 wins this year, has had a really fast car all year, but the last couple weeks has been struggling. And coming off, still he started towards the back this week as well. Still able to salvage a top 10 finish, but still been struggling a little bit the last couple weeks, and so it's dropped him down on my power rankings. At number 2, Christopher Bell. Had 3 wins in a row earlier this year. Last week, got the P2 finish at Mexico. Struggled a little bit at POC-OH-NO this weekend. And number 1 has been stated, Denny Hamlin. He's another one that's been in contention all year this year. Got the P2 finish this week, and one that I'm excited to watch the rest of the year going out in contention to win that championship that he's struggled to get and been dying to get this year.
It will be definitely interesting to see what happens with Denny. Obviously, it's pretty what time, whatever our power rankings that come out, it's 5 minutes later, you could easily change it if you found a stat or something to go a different way. So, as I mentioned, this just seems like a pretty wide open Final Four possibility, and I'm looking forward to it. Now, my top 5, I'm actually going to put Ryan Blaney as an honorable mention. I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but there's a driver who's been putting up more consistent numbers, just hasn't been able to find a victory lane. So number 5 for me, no DNFs over the last 15 races, 9 top 10s, an average finish ranking of 9.9. Boys, Chase Elliott, he's due. We talked about Byron being due. Chase is due. He's going to find himself a way into victory lane, especially with a possible road course or 2 road courses and a street course. You always know the Hendricks cars are fast when it comes to super speedways. Chase is going to find himself a victory before playoff time. Number 4 for me, his teammate, William Byron. Still got to put him up there. He's been having one of the fastest cars all year. As you guys mentioned, just hasn't been able to finish the job. Number 3 for me, Christopher Bell. We're getting a little bit further away from his 3 race win streak. Meanwhile, Hamlin's won 3 since then, and Larson's won 3 since then. So, going to keep him at number 3. Number 2, I'm going to go Kyle Larson. Probably could be number 1, but after the week of having it, as Ben calls him, Mr. POC-OH-NO, even though he didn't find a way into victory lane, we penalized him last week because he didn't race, as is well-deserved. I'm not going down to Mexico, too, if I have just had a newborn child. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to take care of my family and make sure everybody's okay. But number 1 is Denny Hamlin. I just still worry come playoff time, will they be able get that monkey off the back? I don't think there's anybody outside the haters of Denny, which, by the way, going back to his last win, the little OH, I know he's a Buckeye fan, but he can get out of there with that. But yeah, so Hamlin finishes number 1 for me. Interested to see what happens. Obviously, Atlanta, as we mentioned, is coming up. Little later on this week, we're obviously going to be talking the playoffs as we're going to record it right after this. But Ben, Bull, any final thoughts before the closing segment?
No, I think we covered everything.
The only good thing about POC-OH-NO was now we get to the in-season tournament, the in-season challenge, and I know the drivers have said that they're not really worried about it, but I am looking forward to it. I can't wait. It just adds a new aspect and something else to watch during the race.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be fun for sure.
I'm sorry, I 100%
as a fan.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. Yeah, like I mentioned, I'm as a NASCAR fan, I'm really excited to see this in-season tournament. Though I feel like we're going to see some great racing in the next 5 weeks, and it's going to be really fun to see these guys grind it out for $1 million.
Yeah, when you're a small market team too, if you can win that $1 million, it's no chunk change. That's a big time changing. But just a reminder, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Let us know where our power rankings went wrong. Maybe what our overreactions were thinking. Let Bull know that POC-OH-NO definitely does not need to be taken off the schedule. Prefer just to listen? You can now just hear us on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, all thanks to rss.com. And don't forget, we're now on all major social media platforms. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter X by just searching CX Pod Network. We're going to put a lot more effort into these other locations as well. We're going to film a little bit of a TikTok, the three of us, a little bit later on. Looking forward to that. Bull's handling that portion of it, which thank you, Bull, for taking on some of that stuff. And finally, make sure you check out any of our great shows over on the CX Pod Network. I know you're probably watching us on Left Turn Central, but we're affiliated with CX Podcast Network. The Restricted Area Podcast tonight is going to talk about the NBA Finals. Not sure Colton's going to be on there, but we had the mindset of we had a Pacers fan and we had a Thunder fan. Good things happen for Logan. The Norse Benchwarmers podcast interview with Rick Roaring will drop tomorrow morning. I'm just finishing up editing that. And then, obviously, lastly, as I mentioned, the rubber match twice a week. Catch us on Monday nights via audio, Tuesdays and Mondays and Thursdays via audio. Tuesdays and Fridays, you can get us in the morning on YouTube. We talk all things major headlines when it comes to baseball. Really looking forward to that show today. Matty McLean, keep staying hot, baby. That's all I got to say there. But for Ben Miller,
Let's go, Rip.
yeah, yes, sir. Bull Davis. I'm Jay North. You can find Ben Miller at Ben Miller. What is it? Ben Miller PXP or Ben
Miller PXP on Twitter. Yes.
Yes. And then Bull is Bull 81. No,
Bull.
what is it?
Bull _81818.
Yeah. Forgive me. I'm not Colton. I don't say these every week. And then obviously you can find me at JNorth1989. But until next time, make sure you tune in on Wednesday or Thursday. As I said, though, we are going to be dropping the playoff or mid-season tournament predictions that I'm really, really looking forward to. But until then, we'll see you on the flip side. Peace.